once said that the greatest problem in communication is the illusion that it's being accomplished. Effective communication is complicated. The message may be unclear due to interference, mixed messages, or behaviors. It could be blocked due to poor listening skills, language, and cultural differences. As I speak to you today, think of a gray toolbox that is holding all of my communication tools. Just to name a few of my tools is speaking, writing, listening, and conflict management. Just as we migrate daily with the skills to perform our various jobs, we also carry around the skills to communicate. I have 3 communication tools that I would like to speak about today: self-awareness, listening, and conflict management. Self-awareness is the extent in which you know yourself. I learned that we have 4 selves: our open self, our blind self, our hidden self, and unknown self. The open self represents all the information that you and others know about you. Your blind self represents what other people know about you, but you may not know. And an example of that is like if you get nervous and you twist your hair or you fiddle with your watch. These are things that you may not even realize that you're doing, but somebody else may see them. Your hidden self is what you don't want other people to know. And unknown self is the things that you have not yet discovered about yourself. I feel that self-awareness is one of the keys to being able to convey your message clearly, because I feel the way if you know yourself and the more aware you are of what truly motivates you, angers you, or frightens you, it helps you able to communicate in those situations. In order to become more self-aware, you have to be willing to ask questions. That's the only way that you'll find out anything about your blind self is if you ask other people. Learn to be more open with yourself and with others, and during that time you may learn something about yourself that is currently unknown to you. Self-awareness is the beginning of the journey to enhancing your communication tools. The more you learn about yourself, the easier it will be to hear what other people are saying about themselves. The next tool I want to speak about is listening. Listening is the process of hearing what people are saying and being able to stay focused in a conversation. Personally, I find it hard to stay focused in certain conversations when people are speaking about something I'm not interested in. My mind begins to wonder about things that I need to do, what's going on while I'm sitting there listening to them. Or I may already be thinking about what I'm going to say before they even finish their statement. But when I'm doing this, or even when you're doing this, we should be listening, because we could be missing that person has a good point or the link to why this really pertains to us. Listening is important in daily communication, and learning to listen correctly is not an easy task. Active listening is the process of receiving and constructing meaning of what is being said to you. You also need to be able to respond to the speaker. This can be done with verbal messages of acknowledgement or nonverbal cues, such as nodding or leaning forward. This lets the person know that you're interested and that you're listening to what they're saying. Listening is much more than just being quiet so you can have your turn. It takes effort to understand what other people are saying. Listening could aid you in learning something new, but it can also reduce stress and help resolve challenges that can come from misunderstandings from not listening. Which brings me to my last tool that I want to talk about, conflict management. Conflict is simply a disagreement between 2 or more people. And managing conflict can be hard because of our own personal agendas. We already have an idea of how we're going to handle things. Conflict will arise when disharmony is felt within any one participant in a conversation. For example, if, let's say, you ask a coworker to cover your shift, they just simply say no. You get upset because you've covered shifts for this person in the past, and you feel like, well, they've done me an injustice. So what you do is you harbor feelings of anger, and that causes conflict in your daily work life. So unresolved conflict can possibly affect the level of your self-esteem that you possess, and again, it will make for a horrible day at work. Conflict management is important because if you don't know the proper way to resolve conflict, then you will find that you're in conflict a great deal of time with people. No one wants to be on that losing end of the stick. We all want to win an argument. That's just natural to not want to lose. But sometimes negotiating is needed, and that you will not always get your way. You need to know that how to negotiate and keep that in the forefront when you are in a conflict. So basically, learn to negotiate. You may not get what you want, but you may be able to meet this person halfway and come to an amicable resolution. Knowing that wherever a choice exists, there is a potential for disagreement. And when a disagreement emerges, it is easy to hear without listening. So communication is the tool that will help you survive. Knowing or being self-aware of who you are aids you in being able to listen and know what you want when trying to resolve a conflict. Listening properly can help you avoid a conflict, and once the conflict does arise, using your self-awareness, knowing what angers you and what frightens you, and listening skills can help you reach an amicable resolution. So if you choose to embark on the journey of self-awareness, you learn to be an active listener and understand that there are more ways to resolve a conflict than winning all the time, you will then have 3 important skills that you can put in your own communications toolbox. Without efficient skills in communication, our roles in life are restricted, and then people may view us in the slightest form. Thank you.
Yay! So wonderful. So
One part.